Now, nobody can tell me they cannot grow anything in the garden. And I'm talking about vegetables here because, you know, that's what I love the most here. Now, if you say you can't grow anything, I'm going to give you some examples here. Exhibit A. Now, these are spring onions and onions that we dug out of the garden bed probably about 4 or 5 months ago. Dropped them in this pot here, not really with any soil, just whatever was attached to the roots of them, no holes. So it only got rain on. Maybe the occasion we'd sprinkle some water on it. Now, I don't know how this has happened, but it's happened. They've got soil falling into them from the heavens above, and they've matted out into this little shallow bed here and grown into full-fledged onions and spring onions. Really, what we got in here is God blimey, mate. Look at this. Have a look at this. Look at all these onions in here. Now, how can we turn these into bigger plants? You can't have them like this. You've got to separate them. Now, the thing about spring onions is, and you can do this with an onion if you buy from your local greengrocer. I dare say the ones in the supermarkets have been dunked in some sort of liquid that stops them from being able to grow again. Not always, but sometimes you'll find that happens with them, so they become sterile. They won't actually grow. They'll be, the roots are actually cooked on the plants. You know, there's nothing on them. There's just a bulb there and very little to be able to grow out of it. Now, these are the onions we've got growing here. We can plant this directly like that into the ground if we like, so that it can form, because that looks like it's going to form into a bulb, so it looks like a red onion. It could be a red leg, and just through the stress, the bulb is starting to swell out and develop over the time. But none of these have really gone to flower yet. Look at them. They've been sitting there over 4 months, and you'd think by now they'd be stressed out. So what I'm going to do is start dividing these, and what you can do is cut that off like that. Don't throw this out. You take this into the kitchen and use it if it's not woody. This is still nice and succulent. So we'll take that into the kitchen. And this little thing here, well, we just find a little hole in the garden somewhere like that, drop it in, and just leave the head exposed. Doesn't matter if a bit of soil goes on top of it. That's all you got to do. Now, you don't have to dig them out, but in my case, because they're already dug out, this is what I've got to do. So you can cut them all down or leave them in the ground. Like, if you've got them growing in the ground already, just leave them in the ground and then cut them flat to the surface and watch them come up, and you'll get at least 3 or 4 harvests out of your spring onions. So get out there, harvest your onions, leave them in the ground, or if they're doing anything like this, well, I can probably plant the whole thing like that in the ground and just cut it flat, eh? Nah, separate them so they have more room to grow up, big, fat and juicy. Check out our website, vasilisgarden.com, for everything you need every day, and reward points, folks. Don't forget to use them, otherwise you'll lose them. From me, Vasily, Adesi.